This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and welcome to today's edition of the Pit Stop, where we discuss today's sim racing news. And Wednesday, hump day, always a light news day, but that gives us plenty to talk about just on our personal agendas. So thank you being part of the pit crew, being here in the audience, talking sim racing news. And of course, if there are any stories, anything you know about going on in the sim racing world, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions, and any stories you might know just adds to the show. Be the ultimate member of the pit crew by submitting ideas and topics for us to discuss on the show as well. So I am going to move right into today's news, get things going, and we can take a few diversions along the way. And I'm going to just go in my normal order. I don't know why. One day I'm going to have to mix things up. Checking in with Forza. I know all the talk right now has been Gran Turismo GT Sport, but Forza, they have a video coming out today with part of their Tuesday mixers, I guess they're doing. But this is tips and tricks video. And the reason I mention it is I'm seeing tips and tricks coming out all across the board. So when we did our Sim Pizza and talked about the best elements, it's like you almost need that support from the factory category that we didn't even think about, but we're starting to see more and more of that. That's pretty cool. The other thing I do want to mention, I like keeping my eyes open for anything that we can win, anything for free, and there is a contest. So if you go to the Forza Motorsport Twitter feed, you will find this, and you can actually win a Hoonigan branded Area 51 Alienware computer, which anybody who does what we do would love to have an Alienware. That right there, as much as I'm not even a huge Hoonigan fan, that is about the coolest looking computer you're going to get. So enter that contest. You can win. Gotta love that. Moving on. Gran Turismo. Alright, so Gran Turismo Sport is out. GT Sport. Who's played it? What are your thoughts? I did a stream yesterday, my first look. The stream was removed. I'm going to come back to that in just one moment. But playing it, I mean, this is a different version of GT Gran Turismo than we've ever seen before. It is limited on content by comparison to previous versions of GT Sport. Much fewer cars, much fewer tracks. Maybe they've stepped it up a little on the physics. I'm still getting used to it, still trying to get calibrated. Hey, the big one, Dennis. And, but it is something, you know, hey, it's a rival to Forza. It's a rival to Project Cars 2. And I guess that's the big question, is where does it fall in that line? And I'm going to stay away from my initial thoughts, because I believe a little bit in the placebo effect, in that we get into a game and we get some very quick opinions, and we haven't done things like dial in our wheel, or as Jay Merck says, turning all the driving aids off just to make sure we're getting exactly what we want. And Spatial mentions not 150 versions of the RX-7, so when you think of the car list of 1,200 cars, previous versions, yes, that was a big part of it, was just a gazillion versions of certain cars, but I also think there's a bigger, much larger diversity of cars than what we have in the new version. And another person with the same comment, yeah, there are not 150 versions of the Skyline as well. Yes, Mads, there is a Mazda Miata, the new MX-5, the new body, brand new one. The rather expensive Miata by Miata standards. So, I have enjoyed it. It looks like they've really pushed things towards multiplayer. I did a couple multiplayer races with 24 people. Up at the front of the pack, it was pretty competitive. At the back of the pack, it was the nightmare you'd expect on a console pickup race, essentially. Spatial, I agree. The center spring on the Fanatec wheel especially, I haven't tried it with the Thrustmaster yet, is very, very strong. And as Billy Strange says, there's not a lot of variations. And I agree, getting back to the whole car chronicle and how many, and somebody mentioned vibration. So some of the, you know, and again, so another topic that we need to talk about, I'm going to come back to Gran Turismo because I do have a little bit of a rant. I did mention on yesterday's show, but here is the official post. So the CSL Elite Racing Wheel is now getting support in GT Sport. Most support. Certain things are still not working. And that gets back to what we were talking about, vibrations. What's not working is the tuning menu, but they've been assured by Polyphony that that's going to be resolved as well. But for now, if you get the latest driver, 293, update the firmware of the wheel to 335, which is included with that driver, you now have compatibility mode. Don't run it in PS4 mode. You want to run it in compatibility mode, the purple light, and you will actually get a working wheel. But some of the settings in the menu settings aren't working, where we might really be able to affect and dial in that center spring and just the overall feel of the wheel in the game. So I'll probably do some testing maybe tomorrow with the Thrustmaster wheel. For now, I'm sticking it out with the CSL. No reason other than it was rumored to not be working, and just in time, it did work. So, anyway, back to Gran Turismo. So I did a 2-hour stream yesterday, last night. My first look, first impressions, the typical, you dealing with me going through the clunkiness of learning the UI, setting up the wheel, forgetting to turn off traction control and anti-lock brakes and things like that. Not knowing what the AI level competition was, not knowing that it was going to take 20, 30 minutes to get into a race. You went through all that with me, 2 hours of fun. We had a really good time. However, my video got pulled. And this is where I'm going to go into my rant. My video got pulled because I have the menu music playing in the game. And that takes me to my next point, which is, this is 2017. If I were going to label this year as anything in gaming across the board or in sim racing, this is the year of streaming. This is the year that everyone and their mom, too, are streaming themselves playing games. And Gran Turismo, Polyphony, is owned by Sony. Sony Music, is one of the 4 largest music companies on Earth. There's their pie. They're the red one. They're huge. Sony has a huge library of music that they own the copyrights to. Yes, I know you can turn off the music, and I agree. I can't stand the music anyway, for the most part. And I did turn it off during the driving, but it left it on during the menus. And here's my point, though. Why is that on me? They built the streaming into the game. This is the year of streaming. They are Sony, and they have the rights to every music on Earth, and they can certainly provide. I can get music from YouTube that is copyright free, and I don't get my videos pulled. Why would they put music in that is going to make not just me? Sure, I'm taking it personally. I did a 2-hour labor of love, and it was pulled, and no one will ever see it again. That to me is very uncool, and I point the finger on Sony more than my obligation to know if music within the game is legal or not. I say the same thing about Codemasters F1 2017 with the whole Formula 1 intro. You guys license the content. Get the license that allows us to be modern in our sim games. We want to stream. We don't want to do work to have videos pulled. So, I'm not trying to take away from the game. I just think it's sort of ironic that Sony, one of the top 4 music companies in the world, owners of Polyphony, owners of GT Sport and Gran Turismo, couldn't put music in. And it's not even that great of music. It's not like it's got Van Halen in there. And no, it's just... Anyway, rant over. That's my rant of the day. I don't do them often, but it just upset me. This is like the 5th video I've had pulled, and it gets a little bit aggravating, as you can see. So, little insight to the things that do bother me in our world, our industry. We did talk about iRacing, and I told you I'd get you an update on certain things. So, with the dirt coming, I have confirmed the tracks, if they're at a location, and right now I think that's most of them, if the tracks are within a track that you already have. So, for example, Daytona. If you already own Daytona paved, and the infield rallycross track is at Daytona, then it's free. It's automatic. You already have it. If you don't own the full version of the track, then you would need to be able to buy it. So, depending on where the tracks are, the content you own, a good portion of the rallycross stuff is going to be free. The VW is going to be free. The Fiesta you're going to have to pay for. And we have, I can only expect we'll see more cars in the future. If they're really doing Red Bull GRC, I mean, we'll see a Subi soon enough, I'm assuming, I would hope. But for now, we're looking at the free VW Beetle and the paid-for content Ford Fiesta, and a variety of tracks that will be mostly free to current members, because most of them are at tracks that most people, especially the oval racers, already have. And who knows what the future will bring. So, that's my thoughts on iRacing and my follow-up on GRC. WRC. Oh, this is cool. So they're going to be at Paris Games Week from November 1st through 5th. If you're into WRC and you're going to be attending, they're going to have a booth there, and you'll be able to go check out the way they're presenting it. And I bring this up, again, Paris Games Week. That's a big, big gaming show. I love it whenever sim racing is being presented. I hope they do it justice and show it well so that they can continue to grow our world and market and expand everything. Couple more small topics, and then we're pretty much done. This was my image today. TT Isle of Man, as you know, they had their delay, and they're backed off till March of 2018. And they have put out some teaser videos just showing off the bikes. Anyway, this is a cool one. If you're into bike games, you're probably eagerly awaiting this. If you're into Isle of Man, you're probably eagerly awaiting this. And now you can check out these 4 car models and then vote on your opinion, favorite one. And I bring that up again. These guys are just kind of getting this game ready for that March release, and I'll be looking forward to it. So I'll definitely be trying that out and see how it plays out. Let's move on to racing fun, things that we get to do. So tonight is the Ricmotech Hot Lap Hump Day. Hump Day, Wednesday, Hump Day. And that's from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're looking for some fun to do, they're going to be running iRacing. They're going to have a hot lap challenge with their people who are in the shop racing with them and all the guests that they brought in. If you're in Florida, Southern Florida in particular, you should go check it out. Frank at Ricmotech will be there along with the whole staff. They'll have motion simulators. They'll have their new wheel. They'll have all sorts of toys to play with, food, drinks, and some prizes. If you want to get in on the fun, I'm probably going to stream some of it. I'll get in there probably at about 6 o'clock. There is a password, so if you want to get in on it, you're going to have to tune in at about 6 o'clock my time, 6 o'clock Eastern Time, 3 o'clock Pacific Time. That's when I will get live on the air, see what's going on, do some driving with the guys who are there at the shop, and do some streaming of the event as well from my end. I'm not sure, I have to do setup shop as well, so I'll probably have to take a break from this, maybe come back to it. But I will be there in the beginning just to get things going and post my lap time. And I do know you could win a $25 gift certificate. So, could be fun. Just a group to hang out with is always an event worth attending. And I always like that idea of going us against them. Guys in reality, like when I run with CXC and we run against guys who are online, it's always very interesting. No, I will not be there. I will be online racing with them in their room, which I'll have the details of the room and the password and all that good stuff. So that's going on tonight. I do not have that particular city, Sasha, but I do have Germany. We can bring up the map real quick. And here we go. We added one for Hawaii. You can see I have a lot of density here in that region, but I can throw another pin up just to make sure that you're covered as well. Yeah, me too, Billy. I'd love to go down there and hang out with them for this. So, the picture, you want the helmet picture. I will have to dig that one up. You mean the one in the suit with the helmet? I'm not sure which one you mean specifically. Let's see, what other things do I want to talk about? Let's talk about Historic Series, SRS Historic Series. It's a big one. Dennis is in the house. He set up a server. We made a change last night to make sure the server settings are identical to the race settings. Tonight at 6 o'clock my time, 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we will do a setup shop, attack the track. Don't know how much help I'm going to be. I'm still debating if I'm going to go paddle shifters or H-pattern in the end. But we do have a server. If you just get into the online area, type in Simpit, you will see Simpit Historic SRS Series Practice Server. That's where I'm going to be at 6 o'clock. That's where I'd like you to hang out with us and get out on track with us as well. So that makes it even more fun than watching the stream, or maybe you can even do both. So that is going on tonight, 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Time, our setup for Thursday and Friday night's race. 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time for both of those races. Running the Ferrari 312. This week we're at Spa. Very fun car track combination. So I see you guys having a lot of chat. I'm trying to keep up with it, but a lot of stuff outside of what I need to talk about. And beyond that, I wanted to just one more last time. We're up to 285 votes at this point. And I would really like your guys' input if you haven't already. It's in the description of the show. 285 people have already filled out this poll. And this poll is us building the perfect sim. You know, I was doing some of the career mode in GT Sport, the training sections, and I almost want to change my vote to Gran Turismo GT Sport because of how good the tutorial videos are. Maybe not enough of them to carry the single-player mode, but I do want your opinion on everything from graphics, physics, fun factor, user interface. We broke down 30-plus categories of what makes a perfect sim, and I'd love your opinion. Love to see that get as many votes as possible, and then I'll do a video with the results, and we'll talk about what the real perfect sim would be. So I'd love your opinion on that. Beyond that, I think that takes us to everything other than the next thing I will be doing is I'm going to take just a little bit of a break here, get a cup of coffee and a drink so I don't get too dried out. I'm going to be turning down the volume on the music in Gran Turismo Sport, and I'm going to go ahead and get back in there and do round 2 of GT Sport. First look, first impressions. Hopefully this video will actually stay, and you guys help me out if you come back for that stream and prevent me from going on any rant. I already did my rant. I'm done with that. We can just move on. So that should be a fun show, and that's coming up probably in about, let's call it about a half an hour. We'll make it 9:45-ish that I'll get back on the air. I don't want to wait too long. I just got a few things to do, and then we'll get going. If you want to join me in there, I don't know if I'm going to be doing career mode, multiplayer, the balance, or if you want to just see how your lap times. My screen name should be Sean, S-H-A-U-N, Cole, C-O-L-E. You might see it by the Simpit. And it'd be interesting to see how we all stack up. And I'm pretty new to the PS4, so almost everybody I know on there is sim racing related. Marco, I put a request in for it to be fixed for the series itself. On the practice server, we cannot do that because you need to go into booking mode, and we want people to be able to come and go as they please. Tonight, there's a room being hosted for the Sim Racing Series system all the time. So if you go on to Assetto Corsa and you just type in Simpit, you will see the Simpit Historic Series. We have the right race conditions, so you'll be practicing as it'll be for the race Thursday and Friday night. So thank you, Dennis, the big one here in the audience, and a big fan of the show, and he's the one who set that up for us. So thank you very, very much. And I'll be using that server at 6 o'clock tonight to do my practicing and set up shop and attack the track. So that should pretty much... Sean, S-H-A-U-N, Cole, C-O-L-E, Sean space Cole. That is my PS4 name. That does take us to the end of the show. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your opinion on our topics. I know we're going to have a lot more to talk about on Gran Turismo Sport in the coming days, and certainly on the Rallycross stuff coming to iRacing in the next couple of months. Don't have an exact date yet, but we know it's coming soon. We'll have more of that coming in the future. But that is it for today's show. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for being part of the pit crew and part of the show. This is the Simpit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.